Hello and welcome to Tapas and Pretzels, the Pretzels Podcast. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome to the Tapas and Pretzels Podcast. My name is Inga and we have Tim and David here. And we also have a new guest, that is Paolo Platter. So
Hi,
hello,
everybody.
Paolo.
Hi.
Paolo, do you want to introduce yourself? So let's go.
Sure. I'm Paolo Platter, CTO and co-founder of Agile Lab. This is a consulting company born 10 years ago, specialized in data management. 3 years ago, we decided to spin off a product initiative that now is a product company called WheatBoost. So for the last 3 years, I'm focused mainly in that area.
That's really nice because also at the podcast here, we talk a lot about data and also about how data product works and all the fundamentals. And you've also posted a LinkedIn post, I think yesterday, and it was about centralized and decentralized, how does it work in data management, also towards the business. So I also heard that you're also implementing data mesh implementations also in other companies. So how does it work, or how do you do, or have you any kind of input in that kind of topic?
Yeah, we started with data mesh in late 2019 on the consulting side. So we immediately tried to build such enabling platforms for the decentralization. So data mesh is really synonymous of decentralization of data management. So decentralize from the IT towards the business. And the platform that should enable this kind of decentralization is a really tricky trade-off between what can be governed by the platform, what can be centralized and automated, and what instead should not governed and automated. That is where we want to foster the innovation. So we want to move the innovation towards the business, so they can innovate on from a business standpoint without being, let's say, constrained by the IT and the platform. And WheatBoost, our product initiative, it's all about this, trying to find the perfect trade-off between governance and agility in a large organization that want to embrace this kind of decentralization.
What's quite interesting, because when you said you started data mesh implementation by 2019, it's like, I think I just looked it up, when Samak Degani started to publish about data mesh and bringing up the concept. I think that was 2018 or actually 19 somewhere. So we were one of the really earliest adapters, I could say.
Yeah. The fun fact was that when we started the first data mesh design, basically we didn't even know that was called a data mesh, because a customer of us asked to design a data architecture according with the microservice principles and the domain-driven design principle. That was the initial scope. And then when I was trying to design this, at a certain point I discovered the original blog post about the data mesh and say, oh, this storytelling is very good, far better than mine. So I adopted the storytelling, but from an architectural and platform standpoint, at that time there was no material, nothing. So basically we did our journey by ourselves. It was great because, when you need to think about how to come out with new ideas, it's more powerful. It's more powerful than reading something taught by someone else. So we really had huge and long journey in that area.
Yeah, and Paolo, sorry.
No, go David, please.
No, you first.
Okay.
Okay, now me. Okay, Paolo. Yeah, I would like to know, in your opinion, which are the main points from data products that makes the difference when you compare them with other information or digital products?
Yeah, there are a lot of misconception regarding what a data product is, a lot of confusion. Unfortunately, also vendors are increasing this kind of confusion in the ecosystem. So the problem also is coming from the fact that data product was already used in the industry before data mesh to identify whatever kind of data asset out there. So reports, dashboard, tables, whatever. But in data mesh, we talk about data as a product that is a bit different. And in the context of data mesh, the data product is an ensemble of infrastructure, data, metadata, and also all the processes that are needed to generate the data and to manage the life cycle of the data. So it's an application that is managing the data inside. So you need also the business logic. I think there is no data product without business logic inside. If you just pick up the data, someone is picking up data and metadata, but is not sufficient. If you want to have real ownership, you need to manage the business logic that is generating the data. So this is the crucial differentiation to me. Also because the business logic is owned by the business, as the words say. So that's where the shift towards the business is really happening.
Yeah, quite interesting. I think it's quite crucial that you say like, hey, a data product is basically a product by itself. It's kind of a microservice, you can say. It's comparable somehow. It encapsulates a lot of things and has defined in and out reports, and it needs business logic inside. Otherwise, there would be no responsibility, because like this is the main point we always try to deliver in the podcast is the business side needs to get into the driver's seat, and they need to stay ahead of what they are building inside the business, and it shouldn't be a black box, the IT world. But getting into control of something, you need to have a certain degree of freedom, and you need to find the degree of freedom between the standardization. What were your experiences basically, and with all the experience you've made since your whole life journey in the data management world? Like, what is the best approach to find this degree of freedom where businesses feels enabled to get in charge of the products?
Yeah, to me, the standardization must be applied where the standardization is protecting a global interest for the company. So, for example, when it comes to semantic definition of data products, you want to have standardization because otherwise the data will not be interoperable, and this is a global interest. So we want to have data products be connectable across a common business glossary or a common ontology. Or another standardization is about technical interfaces. When it comes to expose the data, you need to have a standard way to do it, because otherwise who is consuming data products will spend a lot of time in doing data integration. If instead the interface for the consumption is standard, the data integration is disappearing. So this is a global interest. Instead, when we enter in how do we implement the business logic, that is an internal implementation, I think there's no need for standardization, and instead we want to have freedom. We want to have people innovating in that area, implementing very good data processing. So I think the crucial differentiation is here. What is protecting the company, what is going to create and protect a global interest, and what instead is not adding value in that direction. Standardizing, for example, the language to implement the business logic, or standardizing the framework, Spark or Flink or SQL to implement the business logic, is really not adding any business value. Instead, standardizing the external interfaces is bringing a lot of value for the company.
So governance plays a key role here, right?
Yeah, governance intended as a all-around practice. So architectural governance, data governance, security governance. So governance for me is an holistic practice that basically is protecting the global interest of the company under a lot of different angles. One of them is the data governance. Very often, governance and data governance are a bit misconfused, but instead I think it's a more general topic to have governance in the company.
Actually, I like how you distinguish between the local and the global optimum, because I'm referring always to the same example when people say, hey, what is the difference between data governance and data management practices? So basically, on a global level, you try to enforce standards so that the whole company gets a global optimum. But locally, where you implement something, a data product, for example, this is locally done in data management. This is the local optimum. So couldn't agree more with your explanation. It was really well summarized. I hope I can somehow, I have a recording now, so I can quote it. Perfect. What brings me to the point of your product company. We said like we don't want to dive deep here, but like, is that one of the concepts that you do follow with your product company?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the core belief in my product in WheatBoost is that every company should be able to design its own practice. Okay, so the data mesh book is defining a high-level practice, but then when it comes to implementation, you can do it in several different ways. And also is not prescribed that you need to implement everything in your data mesh practice. So I designed WheatBoost to make it future-proof. So you can design your own practice, your own specific practice, and you can evolve it along the time. Also because decentralization, data mesh in general, it's a long journey. You will not go from 0 to 100 in 1 week. So it's something that you need to shape step by step. So the platform should provide this kind of flexibility. On the other side, also, I try to stay away from technology. So WheatBoost is not bundled with any kind of specific technology. We can embrace all of them. We can integrate with all of them, but I really don't think that a practice should be coupled with a technology. So one thing are tools, and the other level is how people are using these tools to achieve something else. And these are completely two separate layers. And also, when if we think about the weight, I think the tools are doing 20-30% of the job, and the practice, so how people are using these tools, are making the 70-80% of the job. So we focus more in helping companies to shape their practice around the data product management or lakehouse management or whatever it is. And also whatever will come in the future, because now we have this big revolution, but probably in 5-6 years we will observe another one and then another one. So I really positioned WheatBoost as something that can evolve in the future from both perspective, practice and tooling.
And which role do you think that data products play in AA? In AA, I mean beyond ChatGPT, I was referring to enterprise AA. You know.
I think they are really, really complementary because data products are shifting the data towards the business, and the business is where AI can bring more value. So also, if we look at the similarities between microservices, data products, and AI use cases, typically an AI use case is to optimize some process of the company. And when you design microservices and data products with domain-driven design, you typically do this process. You analyze your business process, you spot opportunities for automation, then you go back and you try to understand, okay, what data do I need in order to automate this decision, this business decision, or also to support this business decision. And when you discover one area where you can automate a decision, that's a perfect spot for a data product. So the data product will deliver the data in order to support LLM and AI to make automatic and faster decision. And also AI can be embedded in data products. So when an AI model is delivering a repeatable business decision, basically it's generating data. So everything is generating data with some business value should be embedded into a data product. So I see them really, really complementary. One supporting the other, and then the AI model becoming the business logic for the data product.
Very interesting. I mean, now we have the vision of like how to combine AI and data products as the final outcome where all the enterprises are looking for, basically having their own perfect AI supporting their business models. But you said it earlier, like this is a multi-step approach based on the experience. Like, what should be the first steps to kick off a data product strategy or data management initiative in your company? What do you think? What would you recommend to our listeners?
You mean to establish the data product thinking in the company?
Yeah, I think you need to have the data products before you can really dive into the AI strategy, because get your data right before studying AI is usually my...
This typically starts with the involvement of the business in this data product thinking, also because creating data products, shifting them in the business means to have the business taking responsibility and ownership around these data products. So the first step is to be sure that the business really want to take ownership of these data products and fully understand the implication of being owner of the data. That obviously on one side, becoming owner of the data product brings more agility, independence, because you can evolve it in full autonomy without relying on the IT. So it's really connecting the business strategy with the implementation and the operation around data. On the other side, being responsible of the data means that you are in charge of operations, change management, and many other aspects. So I think the first step is to do a very good work of evangelization, making all the people understanding which are the benefits and which are also the downsides of this. Is not a miracle, the data mesh. Some things will become better, some things will become worse than before. There are ways to minimize the downside of this approach, but anyway, it's always a trade-off. Nothing is becoming
There's no
super. Yeah, there are no free lunch. You say it right. So the first step is evangelization and explaining very well to the business. Then the second step to me is the creation of the platform to support this kind of decentralization and product thinking, because the risk is that, yeah.
One question regarding evangelism, step one. Should that be triggered by the IT departments, or have you seen also business departments in the past triggering this step?
I always seen this triggered by the IT. I don't know who should do it, but I have seen this triggered from the IT, because the IT is the more knowledgeable about new patterns coming and popping up in the data management world and so on. So typically it's triggered by the IT, and the IT is proposing this idea to improve the overall life cycle of data, also to minimize the relationship that is a customer-supplier relationship between business and IT that is creating a lot of friction. So typically it's the IT proposing this solution to also improve things and minimize the friction between IT and business. And then obviously the business, if get interest in this new paradigm, obviously then we'll sponsor it and we'll support it.
Just to summarize, which are the key points you think are more important around the things we have been discussing here?
Yeah. So regarding what we discussed, I guess business awareness for sure in order to start this kind of journey. The platform to support the decentralization, because just decentralize things and make them self-service without governance and automation is not going anywhere. Is turning into shadow IT, and everybody knows what happened with self-service BI 10 years or 15 years ago. So that's not the good way to go. So the platform is a really crucial element to understand. And then third point is the comprehension of what a data product really is, and how the data product should embed the business logic to be really supportive of the business goals.
Yeah, so Tim, do you want to say something?
No, just to completely align with Paolo.
Yes, I would say that too. Thank you very much, Paolo. And we want you to subscribe us on Spotify and also on YouTube. And thank you also on LinkedIn. And thank you that you were here. I hope we will see us maybe sometime later.
Yep.
And yeah, so
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, our pleasure. You will be welcome wherever you want to come back.
Nice. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Paolo,
bye.